Hello class. This video lesson goes with homework 5 on adding and subtracting fractions. And just a reminder as you work through this lesson that just like with homework 4, your final answers do need to be reduced or simplified fractions. When we're adding fractions and subtracting fractions, one of the requirements is that the fractions have to have a common denominator. That means the same thing on the bottom. Remember, we didn't need that with multiplying. If I did 1/2 times 3/5, they don't have the same thing in the bottom, and I multiply straight across, and I get 3/10. But when we're adding, here's the reason. If we can think about it, 1/2 is something that looks like this because it's one of a piece that's been cut in two. And then this is going to be a little harder to make into 5 pieces, but maybe something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 3/5. And so if we were instead doing something like adding 1/2 plus 3/5, these are like adding two totally different kinds of things, different shaped things. And so when we say we have to have a common denominator, what that does is it gives us pieces that are the same shape. And so what we might do here is take each one of these and divide them in half, and that makes 10 pieces. And now we have 6 of them together. I might divide this into 5 pieces, each one of these into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so now this has 10 pieces, and 5 of them are colored in, and so we have 11 of those 10th size pieces. And so that's why we need that common denominator. If the fractions have the same denominator, adding isn't bad. We have a 1/5 and a 3/5, which makes 4/5. And it's literally like, I'm going to use the rectangle because it's a little easier to do. We had 1/5. And then we had 3/5, 1, 2, 3/5, and altogether that gives us 4/5. And if down here they both have 8s on the bottom, we get 4/8. And remember, you do need to reduce. So I can divide the top by 4 and divide the bottom by 4, and we get our final answer. Unlike multiplying, where you could cancel ahead of time to try and make sure your final answer would be reduced, there isn't any steps you can take along the way that will make it 100% guaranteed. Sometimes, no matter what, once you add things up, you will have something to reduce. So you always have to make that check. Here we have another visual of when I have pizzas, if the denominators are different, in the top it's 4 and the bottom it's 10, we can't just add pieces together without making them the same kind of pizza. So again, that's our motivation for the common denominator. So in this case, we have 1/3 plus 3/5. Our common denominator is the least common multiple, which is 15. Remember, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5, 10, 15. The first thing they had in common was 15. And how do we make 3 into 15? We multiply by 5. So the new fraction is 5/15. How do we make 5 into 15? We multiply by 3. So the new fraction is 9/15. And altogether we get 14/15. One more example. Here, 7 and 9, they don't share any common factors. So 7 times 9, which is 63, is going to be the LCM. We're going to have to multiply by 9 to make that happen. And we're going to have to multiply by 7 to get 63 on the right. And so 27 plus 49, 7 plus 9 is 16. So we get 76 over 63. In this case, 76 and 63 don't have any factors in common, so this is reduced. Some of you may notice that the top is larger than the bottom. That's what's known as an improper fraction. It is fine for your answer to be an improper fraction. We're going to learn about mixed numbers and improper fractions in the next section. Subtracting is done the same as with addition. If the denominator is the same, you subtract. 5/7 minus 3/7 is 2/7. 7/18 minus 5/18 is 2/18. And don't forget you need to reduce your answer. Divide the top and bottom by 2 will do that. If they do not have the same denominator, you first have to figure out what the common denominator will be. 3 times 7 is 21, so that will work as our choice. And so this is times 7, so we get 7/21. This side is times 3, so we get 9. 7 minus 9, the bigger number is being subtracted, so this is actually -2 over 21. When you write that answer, you can put the negative in front of the fraction. You can put the negative up top. You can actually even put the negative on the bottom. It's a little strange, but you just need one negative sign to describe the fact that this is negative. One more example, 3/7 minus 5/6. Common denominator should be 7 times 6, which is 42. 7 times 6, 3 times 6 is 18 on the top. 6 times 7, 5 times 7 is 35. In this case, I am subtracting a bigger number. The 35 is what's being subtracted. 15 minus 8 is 7. So this is actually going to be -17 over 42. And again, it's negative because the bigger number, the 35, was negative. If you have any questions about adding or subtracting fractions, please email me and let me know.